Hello and welcome to Chapter 2. Good job on getting Chapter 1 done, and I hope that you have a better understanding as to what your problem is and how you're going to tackle this study. So let's dive right into Chapter 2. Okay, Chapter 2 can feel a little bit overwhelming. Chapter 1 and Chapter 3 are going to be very technical, very organized. It's going to have all of the headings in the checklist that you need. Chapter 2 doesn't have that much, but it leaves a little bit more up to you on how to format and how to break things down. So buckle up and get ready to learn in Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is where all of your research and everything that you've done really come forward. So the benefits of Chapter 2, like I said, it can feel daunting, it can feel really scary when you get to Chapter 2, but it's going to be really fun because this is where you become the expert in your field. After all the research that you've done, after all of the journal articles that you've read, you can answer the majority of the questions related to your problem, related to your area, your field of what you're studying. So make sure that you embrace that and that you're really absorbing everything that you're learning, because this is the fun part. Okay, become familiar with and understand your theory and conceptual framework. I've said this over and over and over again. You have to understand your theory or your theories, what they are and how they work and how you're going to use them in your study. Okay, you also get to see and compare research that has been done. So we did this before, you were collecting research and you were saying what has been done, you were looking for the further information is needed, for the research is warranted in these areas, and you'll be able to see all of that come to life in your Chapter 2 because you'll have a whole section that states everything that has been done regarding your question, your fields, your specific area that you're studying, as well as all the things that have not been done or discovered. And then you will be ready to take on Chapter 3 if you fully understand Chapter 2. The checklist. Can't say it enough. The checklist, the checklist, the checklist. Do not veer off of the checklist. It will create more work for you and it will be unnecessary. Only do what is required. Chapter 2 does not have that many sections to cover, but it will be lengthy because some of them are pretty broad and it gives you room to grow in what you need to discuss in Chapter 2. So again, all of the chapters start with a recap. You're going to state what the problem is, you're going to show evidence that this is a problem, and then you're going to cover the main topics that you are going to discuss in Chapter 2. It's just a brief idea of what's coming. Give the reader a little bit of a heads up. Okay, you're also going to have to talk about where you gained your information, from where. So you'll have to specifically state which databases that you used. And you're not only going to say Google Scholar, you're going to be using all of the ones in the Walden library, like the SocIndex and the PsycIndex and all of those different things. So keep a mental list, keep an actual list of where you've collected all of your data from. And you'll also need to have a section of the keywords and phrases that you've searched. And this will give the readers an idea of all the different topics that you've researched and how you came about all of your information. Next, get organized. I highly recommend that you make an outline for Chapter 2. The first parts are pretty similar to Chapter 1, where it states exactly what you need, just what we went over. Where did you get your information? What databases did you do? But then you get into the little bit more generalities where you're going to go into the history of your topic and what research has been done. So what to expect in Chapter 2, you'll talk about your theory, you'll talk about your topic, you'll talk about what information search and research you do, you'll talk about all of these different topics related to your study, what has been discovered, what is known, and then again, what is not known. So don't get lost in the volume of everything that you have to do. Don't get lost in the volume of research articles that you're reading. Make sure that the research articles that you're reading are very relevant to your topic. While the general topic is very interesting and intriguing, and I highly encourage you to learn on your own time, right now you need to focus on the specific problem. And also, now is a great time to get organized for your sources if you haven't already. There are programs that help organize your sources. I use Zotero. I know that Walden at the residencies, they talk about Zotero or Mendeley. Research them, see which one fits better for you, see which one you like more. Zotero I liked. They have the capability of organizing in many, many different topics, as well as a lot of them save in PDF, which means you can double click and have access to your files right away. So find what works for you. So theory and conceptual framework, here we go. This is when you need to know the who, what, when, where, how, and why. You will discuss your theory. You'll talk about the origin and the source of the theory. So who created it, when they created it, why was it created, all of these different things. What does it say? The major theoretical propositions, including any assumptions appropriate to the application of the theory. So all of these things are coming directly from the checklist. The literature and research based on how this theory was used in similar ways to your study. Why did you choose this theory? How and why did this theory relate to your study? How does your research question relate to, challenge, and build upon this theory? So again, you're going to know who created the theory. You have to know what this theory says. How is it applicable to your study, to your field? When has it been used in previous research? Where are you, where has it been, again, used in previous research? When has it been used? Where has it been used? How has it been used? How are you going to use it in your study, and why? Why is this theory the one that you selected? Why is this the best fit? Why does this theory fit your study in answering the question and finding the purpose? Next is read, learn, repeat. Who, what, when, where, how, and why in regards to your topic. So you're going to learn about similar studies in this field. Don't get lost in those studies. Like I said, they're interesting, they're great, but don't get lost. But you're going to be sharing what similar studies have been done to your study. And you're going to share all of the results of those. You're going to be synthesizing all of this work. So make sure that you have a good storage system for how to save these, where to save them, how to come back to them regularly based on topic or however you want to organize it. How has this problem been approached before? Just because this is a new problem and you're studying it does not mean that it has never been done in a different way. So maybe your problem has been done and researched quantitatively, but you're looking at it qualitatively. Maybe your problem has been approached in this aspect, but not quite in the aspect that you are looking at. So maybe it's been looked at according to age or gender, but it hasn't been looked at according to religion, which is what you're studying. So make sure that you understand that as to how this problem has been researched previously. What were the strengths and weaknesses of that previous research? What were the strengths of the method style? What were the strengths of how it was conducted? Maybe what were the weaknesses? Were they missing certain things? Like I said, all of these different things, the methods come with strengths and weaknesses, as well as the overall studies may have things that were discovered and things that were not discovered. So those are some of the aspects that you're going to be looking at in this historical part of your chapter 2. Why did you choose the variables or this concept? You're going to have to back up why you chose this study. Why did you pick this? And again, you're going to review and synthesize, keyword synthesize, the concept and phenomenon. So what about this phenomenon is known? What isn't known? And you're going to have to use the literature, the current work that's out there to show what's been done and what's known about this phenomenon. Review and again, synthesize studies related to the research question and why your approach is meaningful. Make sure that you really, really, really understand what synthesizing means. And this is going to be very important throughout the rest of your study. You're not summarizing what one person said per paragraph. You're gathering all of the information and you are putting it together so that the researcher has a clear understanding of what's been done previously. What has been done, what was discovered, why is your study different, and how does your question contribute to the research world? So this goes back to the significance. All of these things are going to be part of the alignment that we talked about before. So what has been done, what's been discovered, if it's already been discovered, you're not researching it, and that's great. Why are you different? Are you using a different theory? Are you using a different lens? Are you looking at a different aspect of it? And what's the significance of this study? What are you contributing to the research world? Summary and conclusion. Again, you're going to summarize the major themes in the literature. This is the only time that you will be summarizing because you'll be summarizing what you've already stated. You'll summarize what is known and not known about your topic. You will describe how the study fills the gap of research. What little section are you filling in the research world? How will your study extend knowledge into that discipline? And then you will transition into chapter 3. You will use the checklist for your transition to chapter 3. It has the headings in there. So you can give a brief synopsis of what is going to become in the next chapter. Tips for chapter 2. Meet with a member of the library and they will help you so much. They will show you different terms to search. They will show you different databases to use. They helped me so much when you come in with your little mind and you have this idea of exactly what you want to do. They will help broaden it with terms that you did not even think of before. And they will help you understand how to use the library resources that you need so badly for chapter 2. Use the reference list of the articles that you've already read. If you read an article that's really, really great and very relevant to what you're studying, look at their resource list. See where they gathered their information. It's great that you have what they discovered at the end, but you also have their history section. So use the sources that created their history section and go back to the original work to see what those authors found previously. So don't make it harder than it has to be. A lot of times in disciplines, you're going to see the same authors popping up and popping up and popping up. So read through those and you might say, oh, I've seen this person a few times. Let's research him and see what he's done in this work. Or you might see an article within an article that's already relevant. Use the terms of the articles that you have read. So if you find something, look at the keywords at the top of the article or look at the words within the article and search those. There can be more than one way to say something. For example, I researched gray divorce and I learned that it is called late life divorce, it's called gray divorce, it's called silver splitters, it's called many different things. And it gave me an idea as to more terms that I could search because some articles may have referred it to a different name than what others did. Research, 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 but be selective and choose relevance over volume. And remember that the years matter. So when you're looking at research, look at whether or not it's relevant to what you need to cover in your checklist. Again, it's all interesting. We picked a topic that we like, that we want to learn about, but make sure that it is specifically what you need to cover all of those different sections that we talked about. If it's not relevant to your topic right now, or if it is really, really old, maybe save it and read it later. But right now, it can't be used. You're going to have to stick within 5 years. And I would be very, very picky about that. I would pick between 3, maybe 4 years, but it has to be current research. So the year really does matter. Think of each section as its own little paper so that you don't get overwhelmed. This is when I highly recommend that you make an outline. Make an outline of what your topic is and all the different parts that you feel that you have to hit in order for your reader to have a full grasp and understanding of your topic. So that when you go into the next section of what study you're creating, they can say, oh, yeah, I see that all of this research has been done and this is what has been discovered. And then at the end it says, well, we still don't know about this. And then it leads into your research as to how you're going to determine what your question is. So don't get overwhelmed. Break it into chunks, break it into sections, and just do one section at a time so that you don't feel this daunting pressure of creating a whole history in one day. You can do it. Chapter 2, some people love it and some people hate it, and you're going to find where you lie in that spectrum. But just remember that this is the part that makes you the expert. This is the part that will help you determine what you know about your topic, what you don't know about your topic. It will give you ideas as to If you're doing qualitative, what questions you need to ask, how you need to ask them. If you're finding um, articles that use your same theory, you can use all of this information. So make sure you have a really good understanding of chapter 2, and it will help you lead in successfully to chapter 3. Good luck.